everyone, I'm Ethan with Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Saint. We've all had bad days. Days when we're worn out, or discouraged, or so unmotivated that just rolling out of bed in the morning is a struggle. Nobody is immune to fatigue, but some show it less than others. Today we celebrate the feast of St. Gotthard of Hildesheim. He was the kind of guy who would never take a sick day, even when he was actually sick. Gotthard was born in southern Germany around the year 960. His father was a servant of the canons at Niederaltaich Abbey, and as a result, Gotthard was brought up in a religious environment. He made the acquaintance of several bishops and even Archbishop Frederick of Salzburg, who was so impressed with young Gotthard that he took him into Rome and gave him the position of provost. He was at this time only 19 years old. Within the next 10 years, Gotthard had become a priest. Around the same time, the Benedictine rule was reinstated in the abbey, a reform that Gotthard would strongly advocate in the future. When he became an abbot, he ensured that the rule was kept without fail and was so constant in his practice that he earned the admiration of Saint Henry, the Duke of Bavaria, who would later become Roman Emperor. Henry saw fit to task Gotthard with reforming several monasteries in the diocese of Freising and Paschau. The process took 25 years, but with the help of a deputy filling in for him when necessary, he managed to succeed in these reforms while still overseeing his own abbey. In 1022, when the Bishop of Hildesheim died, Saint Henry could think of no better successor than Gotthard. When the local clergy showed overwhelming support for his election to the bishopric, he found himself unable to refuse. At this point, Gotthard was 60 years old, but he didn't let that slow him down. He oversaw the founding and reconstruction of numerous churches, as well as the creation of a hospice where the sick and poor could go for rest and treatment. He had a great love for the ailing and destitute, and an equally powerful dedication to the education of young clergy, for which he founded several schools. He continued his works of charity, and remained a champion of strict adherence to the Benedictine rule until old age, and the rigor of his efforts finally caught up with him. At the age of 78, he fell suddenly ill. He was moved to the hospice he had founded and died soon after. Following his death, Gotthard was celebrated in his diocese, especially by his successors, the future bishops of Hildesheim. A little over 100 years later, several of these bishops pushed for his canonization, and in 1131, he was officially declared a saint by Pope Innocent II. We should avoid overworking ourselves if we can, but even if you're stuck with hard work, it doesn't have to be just a chore. Countless saints, even when they weren't in a profession, spent hours in prayer and fasting. The simple act of offering up our sacrifices to God can give them meaning. As long as we remember the redemptive suffering of Christ, any kind of work can become something worthwhile. Saint Gotthard, pray for us.